ロボ忍者デザイン
Hey, it's your action figure hero Nate with Robo Ninja Design, and I have a problem. I've moved into a new studio space, but I haven't solved the problem of how I actually want to display my figures. This is my old studio space, and I previously used this pegboard to create shelves to display the figures. I would not recommend that as a solution at all. The long wire brackets that go into the pegs actually tilt down slightly as you put more weight out to the edge of them. That, coupled with the fact that this pegboard is tied into a wall that is connected to stairs, made this a recipe for disaster, basically. As people went up and down stairs, the shelf would, bounce up and down a little bit, and figures would just nosedive off of the shelf onto my desk. Nothing was ever broken, which is good. It is slightly annoying to have to pick stuff up constantly and put it back, and then wonder where accessories are on the floor if you ever find them. So I definitely want to move away from this design. So let's jump over to the new studio space and take a look at what's going on. This is my new studio space, and while it's not completely finished, it's getting there. I'm kind of the mindset that you should really live in a space and modify it to suit your needs as your needs are made more apparent. Don't necessarily design the whole space, completely build it exactly the way you think you're going to need it, and then move in. It's more like an evolution. But the big pain point is right now, my open figure collection is living in these cardboard boxes, which is not ideal at all. So I've gone over to Rob from Peter to Pay Paul from my board game collection, cleared off the top shelf here, and this is where I want to build a tiered shelf where I can put my figures up for display. There will be more display options later on. I might get some DTOFs or something, but this is where I want to start. It's going to be an inexpensive project, so let's get started on it. So I've got my materials laid out here. These planks are 6 feet long by 3/4 of an inch thick and 5.5 inches wide. This is a piece of 3/4 ply that I had floating around in my basement. And it's basically going to be a step shelf. So it'll be, one of the planks will be the base, another one will be a back wall, then another base, then a back wall and a base. The bases are where you could stack up the figures on. The plywood here is going to be used to create riser supports. Basically, they're going to be L-shaped risers that will go underneath, help give everything support and tie everything together. So what we need to do now is to follow our sizes that we have laid out here on our graph paper, transpose that onto the 3/4 ply, and get these 3 risers cut out. As we're getting these laid out here, I just want to take a minute to talk about the actual cost of this whole project. The individual planks were, I believe, $5.85, so about $6 a piece. There were 5 of them, so that's about $30, roughly. The nails that I used, you can get 2,000 of them for $5. I maybe used 100, so you're looking at pennies there. As for the cost of the plywood here that I'm actually cutting up, it was of no cost to me. It was left in the house. That being said, if you had to buy a full sheet of 3/4 ply, it would be, right now, it would be about $60. That being said, you're not going to use a whole sheet. You only need 1 strip cut off. Also, you could use other scrap wood you have laying around. So that brings the whole cost of the project to maybe around $40, which is less than half the cost of 1 DTOF if you were to get that at IKEA. And this is going to have a lot more surface area, and it's custom built for the space that I have available. And you might say, well, that's great, Nate, that nails for a nail gun are super cheap, but I don't have a nail gun. And I think the solution for that is probably trim screws. You can get a box of trim screws, which would be way more than you'd need for $10. So if you committed to getting the box of trim screws, and then just using building the risers out of scrap wood instead of buying a sheet of 3/4 ply, you could definitely still get this all for around $40. So now we have 3 of these cut out L pieces, which are going to serve as the support for the riser shelves. And if you want to follow along, this is this height here. So this is 11 and 3/4. This is, 4 and 3/4. This is 6 1/4. 6 1/4. This is 4 and 3/4. This is 5 1/2. And this is 9 1/2. So they're all your measurements. So now onto the fun part, the actual assembly. In addition to the monetary cost, there is obviously a time cost for this project. I think that you could probably budget 3 hours start to finish. That's maybe an hour of material acquisition, running to the store, getting what you need, making sure that your work area is set up, and then the actual cutting and assembly. Depending upon how handy you are, you may be able to do that quicker if you can assemble your materials faster, or if you're just more efficient. I would say my assembly took about 2 hours, and that was also included, recording on camera. So that's probably about how long it would take you. So one step that I did that I didn't record for dust reasons was sanding down the tops of the shelves where the vertical planks met the horizontal planks. If it didn't line up perfectly, there was just a little bit of a ridge, and I just wanted to smooth that out as best I could so that if I wanted any figures to approach that edge, that it would just be a nice continuous level surface instead of 2 different levels. You might also consider staining and sealing this project if you like the look of that. I chose not to do that for 2 reasons. One, I like the look of the raw wood. It matches the other things I have going on in my studio. And the second one is it's below freezing outside right now, and I don't want stain and sealer to be drying in my house. And here's what it looks like in place up on top of the shelves here. It's approximately 6 feet wide with 18 inches of surface area for 9 square feet of space to stand action figures on. So we're gonna stack some up there, get them organized, and take a look. So this is a lot of my loose collection up. A lot of my collection is actually still in the boxes and the packaging it came in. It's not that I'm an in-box collector at all. It's that I didn't have a suitable place to display the figures, so I'm kind of itching to open up some stuff now so I can get it out here and get it in the area that it's supposed to be on display. Going forward, I'm going to keep y'all updated as this display develops. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
ロボ忍者デザイン